Hello, everybody, and welcome to the one and only MonsterFam Discord live stream. If you joined us before, hopefully you did, we saw American Gothic, which is the movie we're mostly going to talk about. We've also got some little fun alternate choice questions for you guys. So I'm interested to hear what you guys on our panel say, and also anyone
sign up for this.
In the comments. You're here now, you're committed, there's no getting away. Yeah. So I don't know if I should do a really quick spin round introduction, and then you guys can say whatever else you want to add in before we get into the rest of it. So we have the one and only Nuheya. Give us the wave. Oh, thumbs up. We've got the
howdy.
We have a new one to our show, Chunky Code Monkey. And we have an old hat at this point now, I think. Shuko's Powerhouse Cinema.
You can't get rid of him now.
Yeah, and
we've been trying.
Sorry, guys. And if you're not already on the Discord, if someone wants to be kind enough to post the link, then make sure to join that, because it's filled with horror fans. There's movies being streamed all the time, and all sorts of sub chats, so it's just great fun.
Yes, join us.
Join us.
So yeah, American Gothic in Canada.
Yes, I know. It was shot in Canada, and it was at first called Hide and Shriek, but then they changed it to American Gothic for no reason, I guess because they just wanted the cover to be inspired by the painting.
Yeah. It worked for it, I think.
Yeah, there's not much other explanation for it, though, I don't think.
No, had everyone seen it before? I think, Frank, this is your first experience of this, right?
Yeah, it is the first time I'd seen it, and I was like given a negative review beforehand by two people whose opinion I had previously respected, and then I watched it, and I was like, I actually completely enjoyed it. Like completely, just to leave it at that. We could get into specific scenes or questions, but I thought it was a very good movie.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. It was a definite MonsterFam society consideration. I thought if there's someone who hasn't seen it, possibly, then this might be right up the MonsterFam alley. And I'm glad people enjoyed it, because it has rubbed some people up the wrong way before, who I've introduced to. But like you, I kind of got rid of them as friends. I don't speak to them anymore.
Well, I'll still speak to them. You got to keep alternative opinions around, you know.
Mr. Dan and Horror is in the Clean Plate Club.
Yeah.
We were all impressed. We'll come back to that.
Very good. Very good. That's a very important distinction, being a member of the Clean Plate Club.
Yeah,
absolutely. You don't want to have psycho murderers come after you if you're not a member of the Clean Plate Club.
Exactly.
And they will.
It's such a strange line, because I saw this movie for the first time when I was 80 years old, and I'd forgotten, let's say, 75% of the movie, but one of the things that stuck in my head was the Clean Plate Club. It's bizarre. That and Woods are Woods.
Wow.
It's funny because Yvonne DiCarlo, who plays the mother in that movie, she was also Lily Munster, and you know, once again, another famous television mom when you break it down to it. And the two characters in these films, it's like the mom portion of it is played so well in American Gothic, because she does those corny lines. You know, you think like as your typical kid or adult grown person who maybe doesn't have kids, you look at those things, you're just like, oh gosh, you're serious. But then, like, when you learn more about the evil that sits in that house with that family, it's just like, you know, it adds to the creepy factor. It really does, because she's this playful, like, mom type character, but really she's also an enabler. Kitty. She's also an enabler of just all the horrors that they go through in this film.
It's an interesting nature versus nurture debate in this one, with the three kids, not kids, you know.
3 grown adult kids. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it meant to be this way, or did the parents do it? Who knows?
Right. I mean, it's a little bit of both for sure, because they would not have just stayed children in their minds had they not been, encouraged to be that way, and it was all perpetuated, and they were rewarded and punished for playing this role beyond 10 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just sad because the parents are definitely sick, and they created sick people, but they're all like, it is evil, like Chunky said, but evil / just mentally ill people.
The dad said at one point, howdy Hazy. The dad said at one point, we have to keep the kids on the island. I don't want them to be in regular society. It'll ruin them or whatever. So yeah, the nurture versus nature or whatever. And I think this would kind of point more towards nurture or whatever, considering the parents kept them there and like then like stunted their growth and such, like had they like been able to go, I mean, we're like digging into the deeper themes in this movie already. had they been able to go out into society, they might not have been 10-year-old minds. And I had brought up the movie The Baby at one point while we were chatting. And I effing love the movie The Baby, and that's a grown man who is stunted as an infant or whatever. And I feel like this is like maybe like the spiritual sequel where it's like they're stunted in like children.
Yeah, they're speaking of babies.
Hi, Hazy.
There are some kooky, offbeat baby scenes in this, in terms of the mummified one.
Yeah.
And the flashbacks of the character Cynthia, which is the only time I've ever felt compelled to scream or shout at the screen. Like, what the hell are you doing? Get back to your baby and forget about the stove and that phone call.
Through the stove, like
it's almost like be laughing at it because it's so ridiculous. But there's some kind of unsavory quality to the entire film that even if I'm laughing at it, my eye is still twitching in discomfort.
Yeah,
absolutely. As soon as she turned on the tub and the baby was in there, I was like, oh, I know what's coming. I know exactly what's coming.
Yes.
It made me hard to have any real sympathy for her as a character because she's just so dumb.
Yes. And so then after that, she's traumatized, and when she sees her friend go into the ocean, and then she's getting pulled out of the ocean, she's like, oh, she's dead. So of course everybody sees her as crazy, but then we fast forward to the end, or towards the end, and she's running to the other girlfriend of hers saying basically the same thing, like, oh, they're killing us, they're laughing about it, and she's like, no, you're just going crazy again. So it's just like a great build up to have at the end, her be the one that ends up with the family, because she never really talks shit. She's just kind of looking at everything, and her friends see her as crazy. So it was just the perfect setup for that finale. Loved it.
Twist at the end with her joining the family, certainly.
I liked that a lot. I thought that was one of the better twists that you could potentially have done with the story. There's and even going back to the trauma that she experienced, it's funny because the trauma really seems like, she was scared of all these things happening. And then, to see that, once she got underneath that same environment that those kids were in, to see her kind of turn into the same person as them.
Yeah.
Was really, really interesting. And it really, I think, you go back to some of the deeper themes, it really talks about the environment that you come from. Mm-hmm. And that if you are in an environment that allows yourself to, become a certain way and not get out of that environment, it can really turn you into a crazy person.
She was almost worse. She was almost worse, it felt like, compared to the family.
Yeah.
Well, what I found interesting. Sorry. No, what I was going to say was what I found interesting was that last shot, that lingering last shot where you're looking at her between the, I guess through the chair, it looks like some bars. And I don't know what you guys thought of that as far as like storytelling wise, what that would, I guess, mean or signal to the audience. I thought it was something that had to do with like, oh, she's a prisoner now to her trauma, to her insanity. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting as far as, yeah, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but that was a pretty interesting shot there where she's kind of like, you're seeing her between these bars cradling. Yeah. I think she's cradling like what's left of the baby there at the end.
I feel like his thesis on American Gothic.
Yeah. It's like, okay, Chuka, tell us how that makes you feel.
Like what's your favorite kill scene?
Interesting.
Sorry. I was just wondering if you guys thought the same thing.
No, but
I hadn't caught
like
that myself. That is deep.
Yeah.
That is insightful.
Yeah, they do. There's always some interesting shots in here for elements like that. It's really, really good. And yeah, I lost the rest of my thought, but I'm gonna run with it on it.
I was gonna go back to Chuko and that ending, because actually John and I, after we watched this for the first time quite recently, and my question, of course, with the logic that I like to put to everything, was, okay, so what happens to this woman now? Like, and I said, I think she stays there indefinitely and basically just starves to death in that spot, rocking that crib. But Johnny thinks that she would somewhat get it together and like basically start her own little crazy life.
That's what I thought too. I figured she would then rebuild the family, and then the next, the sequel that could possibly happen would be she's leading the family, and someone stumbles upon them.
Yeah, maybe we decided in our minds that she survives because we desperately want that sequel, and that's why that she's still there and thriving.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to start a hashtag.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I say she lives on the island. She survives on the island, lives there for a while, and then she turns into the smoke monster from Lost.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a New York Taxi.
Yeah.
Hey, someone would watch it.
They probably would.
So, guys,
I'm sorry.
Little, multiple choice question answer thing. Like, we're gonna put you into the shoes of a group of stranded people and see what you would do. And again, in the comments, feel free to join in. So let's go, guys. Question 1. You crash on an unknown island. What do you do? Do you A, stay by the craft and make a smoke signal? B, go find help, leaving one single person behind? Or C, other? If so, please explain. Does anyone want to jump in with the obvious answer?
There's an obvious answer.
I would choose C, and I'd eat Frank.
Immediately, he'd be like, "I assume we're stuck here forever. Let's just get this going."
And you automatically, assume that Frank is there with you too.
Yeah, of course. Me and Hazy are on a flight.
Oh, yeah.
There's another movie about that. Maybe we should have watched that.
Alive.
Hazy stole my answer because I was going to say C, immediately resort to cannibalism, but
Thinking alike here, guys.
Anytime I'm in a panic state, I get hungry, so it's always best to work through that emotion to begin with.
They do say that they've got a ton of supplies, that they're set up.
2 weeks. She said weeks worth of food. Weeks worth of food. I was like, I don't have weeks worth of food in my fridge. How does she have weeks worth of food?
They were prepped. They were prepped.
They were prepped.
No, you pick C. All right. You pick answer choice C. All right. You establish a perimeter. You have a lookout. Okay. You have to give this guy time to fix the plane. All right. I've thought about this. All right? We're gonna establish a series of hunting schedules. All right. Somebody's gonna be spearfishing. We're going to have to, probably dry this fish. We're going to stay alive for as long as we possibly can. Okay. And then we're going to send a scout every day. We're going to send a scout to come back and report to us. All right. And we're going to try to find tools to fix this plane. If not, we're going to make a boat out of the plane scraps. Something like that. We got to do something here. All right.
I feel like you didn't start thinking about this because of this movie. This is something you've been thinking about for a very long time.
Survival
listen, you gotta have plans. If your plane crashes on an island, you gotta figure it out. All right. You gotta have something. It's like that question. It's like, what would you take to an island? Like, you got 3 things. You gotta think about it. All right. These are very important questions because you never know when you're gonna crash on that island.
I mean, you're the man with a plan, and in theory, that sounds like I would like to crash land with you, if anybody, if you hadn't already admitted your taste for human flesh previously.
I'm not taking any flights with any of you at this point. It's like Chunky and Hazy immediately resorted to it. It's like, well, thank you.
It wasn't one of the actual options I gave. That was C, other. So you can travel you're safe. I would build a vehicle of some kind.
Indeed.
But unfortunately, our group decided to go with B. They left one person behind and they went to look for help. So now we come to question 2. You find an empty but clearly not abandoned house.
Clearly not.
A, wait respectfully for the homeowners to return? Or do you B, make yourself at home and have an impromptu party using their records, their speakers, and putting on the clothes from their wardrobe? Or C, other. Explain.
Chuko.
See other Sen Franken.
Send Franken by myself, you're saying?
Party for one.
You gotta make sure the place isn't booby trapped.
I would like draw a bath. I don't know. It'd be nice. I'd be chilling.
Light pipe. Yeah.
I would invoke squatters' rights.
There you go.
There you go.
Take over the entire residence and then rent it out on Airbnb.
Depends on what state we're in, though.
At all, you would just go straight.
Seattle. It's Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, squatters' rights go into effect immediately in Seattle, from what I understand.
That's not surprising.
It's not at all.
Okay, so I'm glad to hear none of you have any good manners, unless there was one of you that was going to choose option.
I mean, I was gonna choose option A. I'm
right.
You know, I'm not trying to do anything more than that.
Good. We
I
have
just assume everybody's crazy.
We have a survivor.
Our group of characters here decided it was a great idea to walk in there and just start messing around with people's stuff. Just on that was the one thing I was like, okay, well, yeah. I mean, at the very minimum, the ma or pa's gonna be like, we were defending our house. Like they were just in there messing with our stuff.
We had to kill them.
Their excuse is like, old stuff. It's like it's clearly still being used. Just because it's old and ancient doesn't mean you have the right to just fuck with it. It's still somebody's belongings. Just because they're stuck in the past, doesn't mean anything.
To be a devil's advocate, I've walked into old farmhouses in Pennsylvania that were completely abandoned. Like and had old stuff in it. It was urban exploring. You knew that they were abandoned, but like so maybe they were naive. Because I forget, was there any statement in the beginning that they understood someone lived there, or? Well,
there was no dust on anything as far as I could tell. So
yeah. I mean, it didn't look abandoned like that. So I can't give them that benefit of the doubt. But here's an example where I would have been killed. I've walked onto boats. I live near docks. I walk onto fully furnished boats. I eat their chips, and I've partied on quite a few in my day. Like, not recently, I'm a grown man now, but like when I was like 18, 19, 20, me and my friends would just go on these boats, and I can imagine like the boat person coming back and being like, I mean, this is a whole movie. This is our next movie.
Yeah, clearly with all the
on water
doing throughout your life, you haven't learned a single thing about what not to do in real life.
Nope. Clearly.
This is what you have to scout. That what? I'm sorry.
I do.
The dude would be like, why does my boat smell of weed and where's my Doritos?
Yeah, dude, we ate all his Doritos.
Our group that invade the house, it said that they all come from Seattle, so I thought it'd be a good time to ask, seeing as you're all from the States.
Apart from Hazy,
is this a fair representation of Seattleites, obnoxious morons?
Oh, I've never been, so I don't want to assume.
Is there a reason why you haven't been? Because this
behavior. 3,000 miles away. It'd be like you traveling to like China.
Yeah, I lived in Oregon for a little while for school, and I went up to visit Seattle a couple of times. And they have a wall of just gum, like old gum. So, and that's like a tourist spot. Like you could go see, like people add gum to this gum wall.
So Paris has the locks of love on the bridge, and they have used gum.
Well, I feel really shortchanged being in London now.
I've seen the gum wall on the internet. I've seen that. I've seen a video of it.
Yeah, well, I've seen it in person, and you can feel like whatever it is radiating off of the. No.
Yeah,
I didn't even want to get the
Chuko, you're
candy. What are you
unclean.
talking about? It's candy. You know, it's like elf. No, you can feel that stuff radiating off the wall, man. You can feel it. It's like whatever it is, like germs, whatever. You can just feel it. And it's like patient zero is just wait, and whoever touches that wall next is gonna contract.
Next,
something.
you just said next, like as if you touched it.
No, I wasn't gonna touch it. I was like, you know what? I'm all Seattled out. I'm gonna leave now. Yeah.
I think the wall of gum is the next plot piece of the next Resident Evil game.
There you go.
That's where the T virus is coming from next time.
Yeah.
I was planning
to
on
answer
going
your
to Rome
question,
and visiting the Colosseum, but now I think I'll go to Seattle and see some gum.
The only thing I know about Seattle is what I've seen in Frasier, because I watched Frasier.
Windy and rainy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to bring it back. We've got a couple more questions.
I was not privy to these questions beforehand, by the way. This is all new to me. So.
Oh yeah, I haven't even asked you for answers. Oh, who
Yeah.
cares? Question 3. On this journey of yours, 2 relative strangers who may or may not be completely out of their minds ask if you would like to try their homemade swing. Do you A, readily agree, B, graciously decline, or C, other? I mean, if you can come up with other, I'm not sure, but burn it down maybe?
I wouldn't go on one of those swings normally. Those things look terrifying.
Hell
I would definitely graciously decline.
Yes, graciously decline. There's no way.
I would pretend I misheard them and say, no, thank you, I'm not a swinger.
Except that would be a lie.
Chunky, Fanny and Woody.
I didn't appreciate though that they only had the guy axe down on one piece of rope to have the swing.
The whole thing, though.
Clearly, there's 2 pieces that needed to be cut. They could have rigged it to where we would have believed him more.
They could have done. They could have been simultaneously standing on either side.
Yes.
And respect the physics.
No, you guys don't understand. You guys don't understand swinging. You need somebody pushing to get the best.
Chuko is a swinger.
Stay focused. Stay locked in there. Stay locked in. Focus up. All right. Focus up.
I can't swing. I need my gains.
There you go.
Right. We're almost at the end, guys. Sorry. A couple of nights have passed and you've taken these people's hospitality. Do you, A, at this point, send someone back to the camp to fill in and check on the one lone friend you've left alone this entire time with no news? Or do you, B, continue on your way indefinitely without checking on your friend? Or the other?
Hey.
Yeah, good.
He's like, I'm just going to be sincere now.
Hey, Paul Frank's been back at the van for 3 days. He needs someone to check on him. Come on.
That's fair.
Yeah. No one cares. Would anyone leave your friend to rot?
No, this is crazy. No. Like, why didn't at least 2 of those people go back to go check on the one friend? And why was one friend left behind in the first place? It definitely should have at least been 2 or just half of them. Just so frustrating the whole time thinking about that.
Chuko would have eaten him before he had time to rot.
Oh no!
How did I get fresh?
Chuko's not the one that
I said we send out a scout. That way everybody else is at the stronghold. All right. That way the scout comes back and says, "Hey, there's a house over here. It doesn't look abandoned, but there's some whack jobs living in there. Like we should probably go the other way." My plan was that. I never said resort to cannibalism.
No, you definitely
I don't know
did.
how I got looped into that.
I don't know either. I'm behind you. I'm behind you, Chuko.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, he definitely said that. He definitely said that.
Run back. Run back the tape. Run back the tape, everybody.
Someone's been
I'm pretty sure you said you were going to eat Frank.
No, that was Hazy.
No, that was Hazy.
That was Chuko.
Oh, I got completely the wrong guy.
I know. Hey, it's okay.
Right.
No, but it was a good mistake. It was a solid mistake.
I can't think of two.
I get their names mixed up, not their faces. But yeah, when I see their screen names in Discord, I'm like, ch. Oh wait, hold on.
Hey. Our screen is like this big because it's on my phone. So like,
yeah.
Oh, shut the heck up. You guys are using a phone? Hazy's over there using like a $4,000 computer and somehow he doesn't have a camera. What's going on over there?
check Discord. I literally ordered one 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
The light comes on, but the camera doesn't work. The sound works fine. I've no idea what's wrong with it, so I've just splashed out £100 on a new one. So.
I say the same thing about my brain.
Yeah.
If only it was like £100 though, right?
Oh, really all get to see my beautiful face.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I've got a final question.
Oh, you got a final question?
I do have a final question. This comes back to one of our early comments from a watcher earlier. So, your lovely hosts have decided to cook you some food. Do you A, make an excuse so you don't really want to eat it, or B, do you join the Clean Plate Club?
John, I have an answer to this. If I may.
You may.
You wait and you watch them eat. If nothing has happened to them, you eat because you need the nourishment. You don't know when you're going to eat again. You don't know when they're going to, when the opportunity is going to strike. You need that to survive, all right? So you watch them very closely. You give them a few minutes, because they might just be, toying with you. But if they're eating from the same stuff that you are, then it's safe to eat, right? And then you take the food.
On the defensive, Chuka. You're just out there thinking that everyone's going to try and kill you.
Chuka, you're in the wrong game.
Such is life.
You're doing a survival instinct channel, not movies.
Hey, listen, I'm not crash landing a plane with no weapons. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go on a camping trip with nothing. All right. A flare gun. That's what I've got. Even then, I'm in this house and you start acting a little funny, you kind of just.
You're going to shoot them immediately and eat them.
No. You hide a knife in your sleeve or something. They're all dressed for the winter. All right. You pack that bad boy away and you just wait and watch, because once she takes out those, sewing needles, it's game on. You got to be ready to go.
I was also looking for the correct term for what those are. They're not sewing needles. They're knitting needles or something. But are they even needles? What are they?
Yeah,
is that what they're called?
They're not super sharp, but yeah, you can call them.
You can kill someone with that.
Oh, yeah.
But no, you didn't say you couldn't kill them. They're not super sharp, but yeah,
and
you can definitely kill someone.
The mouth and the nose and an orifice.
Anywhere.
You can annoy somebody.
We're going to need somebody to field test that theory. Any volunteers? No? Oh, okay. All right.
It's like, if it has to be me.
For science, absolutely.
For science.
This is for the fam, bro.
If you guys ever get on a plane with a pair of knitting needles, all the passengers should be aware that danger is imminent. Stay away. Got some dark plans forming there, guys.
You know what a sick poster for this would have been? Y'all know the poster for what is the one with the burning, where they use the big it's like if they had the knitting needles, like I'm coming for you, like a big scissor. Like that would have been like a great marketing campaign for this.
Yeah.
Right.
Attack the seamstress.
Karen was left with those questions, but I was only left with one, and it's a little bit different. In this movie, the character Fanny, she takes a shine to the guy Jeff, and when she finds out that she can't have him, she impales him through the eye. So I was thinking, the universe sent me a question. I wish it hadn't. If you're in the same situation, would you choose just to have a grisly death and have it all end, or would you guarantee survival, but you have to have a little bit of Fanny?
My word. That
was Fanny. Is Fanny also British slang for what we'd be doing with Fanny now? Because I think it should be now. Like,
Perverts.
Oh yeah.
Fanning about.
It's hard to say no to Fanny.
Wow, Hazy, go.
I was going to say, going back to the last question, if I was going to eat anything at our gracious host's house, I would have to see John's right hand and make sure it wasn't mangled and he was dipping it in all the sauces and stuff. do you have a strong hand, John?
Take a strong hand. That's good stuff.
I did think about the question personally. I got a little bit nauseous and I chose death.
I know, like none of us want to even answer.
I really killed the conversation with the question.
Yeah, we're like, oh man, great, John. Thank you so much.
I'll be her friend. I'll hold her baby. I'll hold her mummified baby. I'm not gonna do nothing with her like that.
You would hold the mummified baby.
Yeah, I would hold her baby for her and
Do
be
you
like,
think that actually is Fanny's baby?
It's one of her brother's kids, isn't it?
Yeah, because they were doing a whole lot of incest.
They insinuate that. Yeah, I think they
insinuate
insinuate
that's what.
Yeah.
I don't think they insinuated that. I think that was a pretty. He said, "Don't do it again. You left me bloody last time," or something like that. Like if that's an insinuation, that's the strongest insinuation I've ever heard. And then she's like, "I'm gonna go get him instead." Like,
no, yeah, my bad. I meant to insinuate that the baby is theirs, not that they've done something.
Oh,
together.
my bad.
Yeah, they no, it's her.
Shut down.
Oh.
But obviously,
run it back.
There's loads of like horrifying things. I think it's a kind of a slow start with this film, but then it's like one thing after the other, and you're like, oh well, that's as far as they can go, and then they like slap you with a new horror. And I'm gonna start with DeRay for this one because I feel like you might already have your answer for this, and I'll give you guys a little more thinking time. But of all the like horrendous things that happen throughout this, from murders to relations, etc., what for you is the most horrifying moment?
Oh, the most horrifying. Shoot. When man, there's a lot, huh? There's so many.
I will start with mine. Mine was after they kill one of the girls, and one of the boys decides that he's not quite done with the body.
That is definitely
That's
Terry.
The necro is not fun at all. It was a great kill when he pulls her neck back and she does the jolt. It was like you could feel it and you heard it, and it was just a moment, and then you just are like, okay, let her go, walk away now, it's over. But
they really laid it on thick after that, because he opens her jacket, then her blouse, rips off her underwear. It just doesn't stop. It carries on going. Even though they show explicitly what happens, you're left in absolutely no doubt. And then when he goes back to the house, it's then implied that this is not even close to the first time he's done it. It's probably every female that's come here he's kind of done this to. And it's just a disgrace.
Corinne's face.
And he's the bad one of the family for doing it. I forget it was Chuko or Chunky who were like, the family's now going to reprimand him, for doing something.
Yeah. There's a really twisted element of that from, having that happen, and, they're doing all these horrible things to these people and everything, but then it's like, oh, you have a moral limit.
Mm-hmm.
Which
they have they're God-fearing people.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they were very moral people.
Yeah, except for the whole murder thing, Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also how moral, how religious standards and everything can get twisted in a lot of people's minds. You have people like fundamentalists who will look at that kind of stuff and be like, oh yeah, that's justified, and then you got other people who are not like that, and that's a whole other conversation you could really start diving deep down into is that. But I have to agree with y'all. I think that scene is probably the most horrifying one of the entire film, for all those exact reasons too. It's you see that they drew an invisible line and had one of the characters cross it.
Yeah.
And that to me is it does kind of bring back the humanity of your killers too, in an odd way, because they are murdering all these people that have come onto their island and breached their space or whatever they want to say, but then they're like, hey, we don't go that far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think another thing that showed their humanity and that I thought was like powerful about the ending was when the father was like, F you, God, I am not, I whatever the word he used, I repent. What was that?
I renounce God.
I renounce God. Exactly.
I give my soul to Satan.
And then immediately he's shot.
Blasted.
Yeah.
And then immediately he's shot, and that's so amazing because it's like it's silly, and like as much as probably you could think that there was little thought put in. I think there was a lot of thought put into this movie. Like it was like, and then he goes to hell. And like this just occurred to me as I was thinking this through. Is it reminds me of Bartleby at the end of Dogma when he has to take his wings off and then get shot and or whatever.
Yeah, that's certainly one. A solid ending. Definitely, like just having blood as soon as he invites Satan, so you know there's absolutely no hope for his soul, no matter how religious he might have, claimed to have been during his life and things.
At that point, yeah.
And also, when we watched this recently, Karen said that she felt quite sorry for Pa at the end when he comes home to his family, and it kind of like takes on another layer because you could say possibly in theory he has absolutely no chance now of reconciliation in the a possible afterlife of his family either. That's it now. That's completely.
I love how your statement when we watched this recently. You had seen this just once, or you've seen this a couple of times. Oh, but John, you've seen it more than once.
As I mentioned earlier, I'd seen it first at 8 years old, and
gotcha.
I'd purposely stayed away from it during my adult life because I wanted to keep the memory of the the unsavory, unpleasant nature of the movie. So that's
a good question. Then I'm sorry. Go on.
But I was going to say, so when I did watch it recently with Karen about 10 days ago, I was thrilled to see that it did just still have this completely, for want of a better word, like icky quality to it. It's grim.
There are so many movies that I'm sure all of us watched as kids that we come back to and watch, and it's like, oh, why it didn't live up to what I remember. And so that's a good question, and you kind of just answered it. This lived up to what you remember it being. It you still felt icky. You still felt like, oh wow, that's why I haven't watched it in this long.
Yeah. For a guy who's I'm reasonably jaded with all the horror that I've seen and stuff, and it was particularly for me when Fanny impales Jeff's eye with that unicorn thing. There's something about the sound design and the way that it's shot that just, I think because a lot of the other violence is off screen, it affected me. And that was a thrill to be affected by just another stabbing kind of thing. It stuck with me. It never left. And even though I'd forgotten 75% of the movie, the 25% just hit me so hard that it's one of the big gateway movies into loving horror for me. It's a weird, strange one.
That's very cool.
I was super glad that you enjoyed it. I really was because. It is a bit of possibly a niche taste, I guess, with the taboo subject nature now and again, and all that kind of thing. Yeah, it's that's what makes kind of movie for me is the taboo nature of it and the sickly feeling that it gives me. That's what I want.
Hazy was like, I hated it so much, I gotta leave.
Oh my God, Hazy.
But I'm like the biggest advocate of the movie The Baby, like I said earlier, and like I know they're not so similar, but it's like that's also just like this sick, twisted. If you like that movie, it's like I probably understand that you're gonna like other similar weird movies,
1973, The Baby, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I added it to my watch list.
Yeah, I've not seen it. So...
Oh, okay. So y'all don't even get my reference, Chunky. You have to have seen The Baby.
I have not.
None of you have seen it? Holy moly!
KT's been trying to get me to watch it, and I just haven't. No, it's on the list.
All right. I thought this was like a reference we were all getting, but it's
we were just entertaining you.
A twisted, weird movie in a weird, similar way to this, but like in a different way. And I think you all would. I don't want to say you'd like it, but you'd respect it or whatever.
And did you say from 70 something?
73, right? You just said, Dre. I don't remember the exact year, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sounds awesome.
Hazy.
Oh my God, Hazy's got his mic. Oh.
There's some.
Do you know how to use a camera?
Cool. Someone see you for the first time.
Yeah, this is like. Howdy. Did you Amazon? Did they delivered it to you that quick?
I usually have a beard.
The camera got rid of it.
Singed off.
Yeah.
It's a filter.
It's a filter.
Did anybody know the character Woody at one point walking around in the forest with his brother Teddy, and he had on the cowboy hat and the toy pistol guns? Is this a direct influence on the movie Toy Story? Woody in his
Direct.
I mean,
Maybe.
I feel like maybe they are both inspired by another cowboy named Woody that we are not aware of.
Yeah. There was something about Woody when he put a hat on, and it was quite unnerving to me that he reminded me of a small, weird Steve Martin. And it took me out of the movie for a good 10 minutes while I was trying to reconcile with this vision. No one else got that?
No, not particularly.
Not quite.
I'm so baffled. Clearly, John and I, we watch stuff together, but we don't talk about it until we're in front of a camera.
Different interpretations.
It would not be the first time that Disney has pulled inspiration from less savory story sources if they did actually pull it from American Gothic.
Makes sense.
I mean, a good handful of the first Disney films were based off of Grimm fairy tales, so
Sure, yeah.
some of those have
Fantasia's like dark. That was one of the scariest things I watched as a kid.
Yes, same.
That Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. I mean, a good handful of those are definitively like if you ever go back and realize that they come from this source material, you're like, oh, that's dark.
Yeah,
it's twisted, but
yeah, there's a lot of the Disney ones that I saw as a child, and they all made me feel. Pinocchio makes me feel weird when they have that really surreal scene where all the kids are drinking and smoking cigars and stuff.
They turn into
donkeys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
that one scene where the one kid where his friend turns into the donkey and he's screaming, "Mama, mama," and that terrified me.
It was a great impression.
It really was.
Yeah. I practiced.
We're gonna find out who you're credited. Were you voicing that?
I was not even a fetus at that point. So the movie came out in like what, the 40s, I think. Something like I can't remember when Pinocchio came out, but
that sounds about right. Yeah.
I'll probably be in the remake though, the live action remake. I think that'll work out really well.
What did anyone make of the? I've only seen it in one other movie, and it was a later movie, Jeepers Creepers. So they had a similar thing in this: the basement of bodies, the tapestry of bodies that the family had taken.
Well, hang on.
Over the years,
the dolls. John.
Dolls. Yeah, the dolls. Yeah. That was one of my moments that you were asking. One of the most disturbing is when homegirl goes in there and she just starts laughing at them, and then she's not caring about her husband and friends either, just being there, and she's just. That's when you know she's definitely gone.
Well, DeRay, when you first saw this, I don't know if you remember the experience, but at this point, if everyone's with us as well, in the point where she sees all her dead friends downstairs, I wasn't 100% sold on whether I thought she was going to come back at this moment or not. I thought that might be the switch that turned her back, like, oh, hang on, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, like when she was praying, when the guy was the brother was getting beat, I knew she had crossed that line. And then, now you see the actual dead bodies. Are you going to then snap and come back? I kind of felt that she was going to just be okay with it the first time around too, and she definitely freaking was, and it was heartbreaking. And I know, so Chuko and Frank, you guys saw this for the first time in the last, let's say, 24 hours. What did you guys think of this moment?
You want to go first?
No,
or do you want me to go first?
No, you go first.
So I had a couple of thoughts actually. So just when she sees the bodies at first, I started like theorizing. I mean, they were going to tell me within the next like 2 minutes what actually happened, but I started to think maybe that Fanny and her brothers were actually kidnapped out of each of those groups. So like the dolls that are hanging there, at first I thought it was kind of the same situation as what's happening to our final girl. I thought, okay, each of these people has come from one of these groups, and that's become the dolls. So they weren't actually the kids. That's what I thought initially.
Maybe.
But the other thing I kind of saw, and it was kind of like a payoff as far as like being a horror fan, is that the mom basically tells them exactly what's going to happen to them when they go down into the cellar in the beginning of the movie, which was cool because in the first, my first viewing last night, I didn't catch it. But this morning, whenever I started watching it with you guys again, she tells them what's going to happen when they go down in the cellar. It's like, oh, you'll be, you're gonna have a nice little scarf or something. You're gonna need one of mom's scarves when you go down there, and because it's cold. And it's like, or he says something else too. But sure enough, when they're, the dolls are hanging up, he has the scarf, and it's cold and it's steep down there. So that was it was a cool little payoff just off of one, like, line that you could just miss if you're not paying attention to the movie, which I thought was a nice payoff.
Yeah. Definitely.
I don't have a ton more to add to the bodies being down there and stuff, but what I did have a lot of thoughts about was her reactions at the end there, eating the dinner and then seeing the bodies, and like the whole idea that a lot of the times they are like the final girl is faking it, and then like there's some sort of like moment where in a lot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, the girl is like faking it with Leatherface, like, oh no, I really like you or something, and then it's like, no, I need to escape or whatever. But there was no moment that she like broke the like crazy revenge mode. Like she killed Ma with the things, and she went on her revenge spree, and then she ended up with the baby behind the bars, like Chuko said, and it was all just like complete madness. It didn't seem like there was any, and I think whoever said it in chat, it was like she like lost it over her own baby dying, and it was like this was the final straw, and like she'd been crazy to begin with.
Yeah.
But you just saw no slight inkling of her coming back and being like normal again. Like she was definitely going to live in this house and starve to death, or live in this house and start the next family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that adds to the movie is just the non-happy ending. You don't get a lot of them, and this is definitely not a happy ending. It's just it's not like a totally sad ending. Possibly it's just another weird kind of ending. And we watched it recently again for the first time in a while, which dragged me to hell. And I mentioned to Karin that the end of that movie doesn't finish well for the characters. It was just refreshing to see again, just not a happy ending.
Mm-hmm. And now, just remind me. So, Hazy, you definitely saw this already twice this week now, right?
Twice this month or so, right?
Twice this month. Yeah, twice this month.
Okay, and Chunky, did you say you'd seen it?
I saw it sometime last year. I can't remember if I know it was in the MonsterFam server too that it was shown too. So it was sometime last year the first time I saw it.
So this is the third time we've shown it in the servers.
It might have been he who shall not be named, Bog, who showed it last time I watched it. So that was my first time seeing it then, and
that's funny.
That's it. And today was the second time seeing it ever. So
definitely found like chatting along with everyone being a mix of those of us who had seen it and people who had never seen it before, and it was just such a fun chat because of all the things that kept happening and like watching people's expectations as we went along. Frank, I loved seeing where you were going with your theories. Fun.
That's good. I'm glad.
I think I'm the outlier here because I really do not like the film. I think it's boring.
What about the first half of it? I feel like it hits so much things that you would like the dead baby and like the crazy adult kids, and like it's just like such a twisted, weird movie. Like yes, I get the boring part up front, but like it didn't catch you at the end, like. No, okay. Video.
I like that. Before it even gets to the end, I just zone out.
No, and see, I like the slow kind of unraveling of what happens, because at first I was like, okay, if there's a payoff, then it's good. But so I started off kind of similar. I was like, okay, this is a little slow, just a little, and then it starts picking up, and then they start, meeting this family, and then this family starts to reveal, okay. I like that. And then I do like that it's not necessarily an ending. It's the beginning of what happens next, for sure. It's not,
You're so poetic.
It's good. I'm not trying to be, I'm just telling you what I'm thinking here. I'm just saying, like, she faked, how we say, she faked, but not faked her death, but not in the sense that a final girl normally does. She did it out of the insanity to make sure she got Pa. So she's insane in a way that's like, okay, she didn't really snap out of her insanity, but at the same time, she was still locked in enough that she had to get Pa, so she still laid there, faked something. Yeah. And then she was locked in. She knew what she had to do. And she wasn't going to catch him on a hand-to-hand fight, I guess. Also brings me to the point.
Let's get serious now. Let's get down to brass tacks.
She knew that the rifle was the best option there at the end, which was smart. And even if she was like bat, I don't know if we could curse on your channel, bat crap insane, she still knew she had to get the strap and take out Paul. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Get the strap and take out Paul.
And she knew not even to give him a chance. She took him out from behind.
Yeah.
She could get hired by any police department in America.
She second guess. She didn't measure twice, cut once. She aimed and let it go right in the back.
But also, he had the shotgun. Oh no, wait, because he brought the shotgun in. I was going to say, because she plays dead as well, doesn't she? When he shows
weird.
Yeah. But
it's
then
weird.
I was going to say she could have just killed him straight away, but it's like she's waiting for him to renounce God and lose his soul. Like she knows
Which
it's
was
coming.
smart. Yeah.
Smart. It was just smart. Yeah. Very thought out.
Or I think she just wanted him to see all of the shit go down. Like she just wanted him. I don't know if she thought about him, renouncing God or giving himself to Satan. But it is weird seeing her play dead on the bed. I had to rewind it. I was like, wait, that has to be her, right? It's not some giant dolly that they brought from downstairs, right? No, it's her. And I think she just, I guess, wanted to feel that gratification of having him see each and every one of his family members gone, all his hard work gone.
And you bring up a cool point too about having to like rewind it, because what I like about the movie is they don't like zoom in on her or something like, oh, she's faking it. Like, oh, they let you like watch it as Paul would have seen it, as he just walks in, sees just these bodies laying there. They don't have to like, completely line it up for the audience for you to know that she's faking it. You see her laying there and okay, she's not dead. She's there laying there. And I like that you said that you had to rewind it because, you're experiencing it the way Paul's walking in, seeing the chaos. So I thought that was really cool too.
Yes, because producers always treat their audience like their children. They feel like they have to hit you over the head with a shovel about what is happening rather than just leaving things unsaid or a little bit subtle. So that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I think this whole film has that thing to it that you were saying that you like, where it's not just served to you on a plate. It's all insinuated and the clues there, but like you have to think about it a bit yourself.
Carry on.
No. I was just gonna add to that. We're just saying, like, even in the dialogue pieces, it's not like, oh, like you and I have been together. No, they just say the last time we did this, So it's kind of like it's just little breadcrumbs that just let your audience know that there's a history behind what's been going on. It's not just hit you in the head with a hammer over it, But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, after listening to you, I've forgotten what I was going to say now anyway. But
sorry.
I think this is one of those horror movies that respects the intelligence of their audience.
There you go.
And that, and like we've said before, that nowadays, I think that's coming back in a lot of more modern horror films. It's coming back where they're respecting the intelligence of the audience and expecting you to pay attention to the whole thing every single second of the time too, and catching dialogue details, catching scene details. People who hide things in the background of a scene are like my favorite people ever. Like the first It that they did with they hid so much stuff in the background for you to catch up on, and I love that kind of stuff, because it's like, oh, I see that, I see what you're doing.
Hereditary did something similar. There was all these people in the background, and the first time I watched it, I never even saw them. So on rewatches, it's quite fun to see them now.
Yeah. You go back and catch it, you're like, oh, they told us that 50 minutes before, that kind of stuff is great. And so I think this is one of those films that,
well, isn't it? There's always something new that you can discover, and like you said, it's so satisfying when you notice it. Same when you see a twist ending and you go back and rewatch the movie and you're like, oh my god, that is like they just did it perfectly, because it all fits and leads you one way, but then you can totally believe that it gave the other outcome.
Yeah, Shyamalan did a really good job of that at the beginning. Now he sucks, but I think he did a really good job with his first few movies doing that kind of formula. And it ended up being, like I said, his first few movies are really, really good. Once you catch his formula, he's dull as anything. So, and I hate him for creating and releasing Trap because
Trap
that movie
is
sucked.
so bad, y'all.
It sucks.
I love Shyamalan. I love him, and Old I had to watch a few times to like more, but like everything else is great. But what the what the hell with Trap, man? Like what the fuck? It was
Trap was a mistake.
It was just basically a promotion for his damn daughter, who sang well, good music, I guess, whatever. But it was just a commercial for her. That's all it was.
That's exactly how I saw it as well. It was just to promote his daughter's singing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sad.
Oh, his daughter's an actual singer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that music in the movie is actually her music on YouTube and shit. Like she, produced it, wrote it, and all that shit. It's whatever.
Yeah, I didn't, because I saw Trapped. I saw Trapped, and I didn't absolutely loathe it. Everybody said that it was terrible, and when I watched it, I was like, well, I thought Josh Hartnett did like a pretty solid performance. Yeah, so I was like, this isn't like god awful, but now that you're telling me, I knew it was his daughter like acting, but I didn't realize that he was promoting her. Yeah, okay, that makes sense now. I can see what. Yeah.
That was the real twist.
There you go.
The real twist is that he's promoting his daughter's album.
I'm really bummed out to hear that because I'm a bit of a Josh Hartnett fan.
Yes, that's why I couldn't wait to see it. I love him. He's amazing. Yeah. I'm glad that he's coming back to acting, because he left when he was a kid, essentially, and I was excited for it. And it was just such a letdown. Like, he has his great moments, and I love the daughter. They have a great relationship, but it was just a lot of dumb decisions and just all about the daughter.
I kind of liked it, and then it just seemed to nosedive the moment they left the venue. The moment they went outside, that was it. It just went to hell. Didn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
I imagine if you like they have the Star Wars cut of Episode 1 that takes out Jar Jar Binks completely. I feel like if you make a fan edit of this of Trap and just have it end like right before they leave the arena, I think it would turn out to be a pretty decent short film.
Yeah.
Short, yeah. 30 minutes.
Are you bad mouthing Jar Jar Binks? Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord.
Misa?
Right?
No.
We're not gonna bad. Listen, I've grown to like Jar Jar Binks. All right, there's a lot of lore behind Jar Jar. He actually kicks off everything. If you really think about it, his vote literally kicks off.
Yeah, I've heard that fan theory that he's actually a Sith, and I can embrace that a little bit, but on the same token, he's the low hanging fruit of Star Wars.
He is.
There's probably a lot of low hanging fruit, but he's the lowest.
On Jar Jar Binks now as well. I feel like you've just been writing about everything: American Gothic, Jar Jar Binks.
It's all interconnected.
Yeah. Everything.
You could have like one of those boards with the strings on it that tie everything together. You can find it eventually. It's like 6 degrees of separation for Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, it all leads to Kevin Bacon. Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, guys. I think we're almost running up to that hour mark, and I know there's another movie to watch on Discord. Grotesque, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Linda Blair movie, which I've never seen either. It's yesterday was her birthday, so like happy birthday to us tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Jared and Frank. Yes.
I didn't even realize when I picked Grotesque that yesterday 2 days ago or yesterday was Linda Blair's birthday, and then I saw that Liz had posted that in the birthday channel, and I was like, oh man, how appropriate. And it's about like a bunch of punks that invade her house, and she has to like defend herself or whatever. I don't know. We'll see.
Make them join the Bling Play Club.
I got ahead in the readings and I started watching it, so I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but I do think it was an interesting. If you've never seen it, that you guys paired the two together.
They seem.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll give Google credit for that, because when I looked up American Gothic, it was in the recommended movies down below, and I was like, oh, that actually looks interesting. I've never seen it, but that apparently Google was right.
Yeah.
I also
and I think
add in before time runs out, because I think we're cheapskates and they're going to cut us off. But we know that DeRay on Rainbow Fright, your channel on YouTube, you've already done a review of American Gothic before. So if you haven't checked that out yet, guys, I know I will be. And John and I on our weekly movie review show will also be releasing our views on the movie. And not American Gothic, but I know that Chuko, you have a thriving YouTube channel where you also discuss movies. Thriving.
Yeah,
and I don't actually know, Chunky, Frank, Hazy, do any of you guys like want to Give a little shout out.
I have my MonsterFam YouTube channel. We did a MonsterFam live on it last month, or yeah, we did it with XXXmas and Lust,
awesome.
Magic, and the Witch's Sabbath, and we're gonna do another one in February. We're gonna do a Valentine's Day like watch along with directors, probably again with Andrew Chambers, who was Lust, Magic, and the Witch's Sabbath. We're gonna do his other movies, Babezilla 1 and 2. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'll plug my Twitter. If you're interested in British film censorship and the video nasties from the 80s, you can follow me at the Video Nasties on Twitter.
Oh, very cool.
I don't have a YouTube, not anything movie related to it, but I do stream on Twitch twice a week. Chunky_code_monkey is where you can find me. We're currently going through Superman 64 right now, which is a lesson in true torture. You've never played it before. So.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us and putting up with my questions and
that was great.
Our tech issues. And thank you to anyone who's watching. And yeah, we're looking forward to Grotesque now.
Absolutely.
So join that Discord if you haven't already.
And happy birthday to Frank and Karen.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great day.
All right, bye.
See you all soon.
Woohoo.